What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Stay Fresh production. Very happy to bring a little impromptu video talking about a brand new release from the house of Duo Fragrances, which, if you didn't already know, has a lot of notoriety with making inspired fragrances. So they call them inspired expressions, and they are generally clones of well-known fragrances. And they're kind of making a killing. They're up and coming and doing really good work. Some people aren't crazy about the whole idea of cloning fragrances, honestly. As long as it smells good, I'm cool with that. So, Bassam, the gentleman who actually runs Duo Fragrances, was kind enough to send me his newest creation, which is a fragrance that is inspired by Creed's newest release for men, which is called Viking. Have a review of that up there if you want to check it out. And he calls this Scarlet Warrior. Kind of a cool name, and it kind of reflects the idea of Viking as well. I like that, even with the color scheme. So you're probably wondering, does it smell like Viking? Well, if you don't know what Viking smells like, again, you can check out my review, but to put it very simply, Viking comes off as this musky, somewhat sweet, very spicy, and pretty fresh fragrance for men. It's a little bit more on the mature side. It kind of brings this retro feel to it, but it still has some, modernness to it. What you mainly get, you get quite a bit of citrus up top, dries down to this mint and spicy pink pepper, and that pink pepper stays present all the way through. It brings another rosiness to it, a little bit sweet as well, and there's vetiver and I think even sandalwood in the base. Gets pretty musky and earthy down below, but it retains this spicy kind of sweet rosiness that's pretty unique, honestly. So on their website, Duo lists the notes for Scarlet Warrior as essentially being exactly the same as they are for Viking from Creed. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I've been testing this the past couple days, testing the two back to back and seeing what I think. So here's what I think. I have Creed Viking on this hand. Both of these have been drying down for about 45 minutes now. So, my verdict is, are they similar? Yes. Now, with Creed fragrances, as you might already know, if you've smelled them, there's a naturalness that is a little bit difficult to replicate unless you're using the same ingredients. It smells so natural, and especially up close. That's how you can tell the quality. Up close really smells like real ingredients. It's not harsh, it's not piercing, it doesn't smell synthetic at all. Now, I'm not saying this smells synthetic by any means. It is very close. You get that spiciness, that rosiness, it's slightly sweet. It does kind of conjure the image of red, honestly, just like Viking does for me. Same thing happens with Scarlet Warrior. I will say it doesn't smell quite as natural. There's something to it that is, in terms of the blend of the notes, is not quite the same as with Viking. There's a sweetness that stands out a little bit more to me with Scarlet Warrior than with Viking, where the blend of Viking is very good and very difficult to kind of decipher every individual note. They all kind of blend together as these unified accords, which again I touch on in my review. Scarlet Warrior comes off as a little bit more linear to my nose. There seems to be one particular accord that is standing out to me. Again, it's that kind of spicy sweetness, and that seems to just take over everything else. But in the air, again, this is up close. Smelling up close, you're going to really pick out these differences. But in the air, they're basically the same. If you catch whiffs, you get the sillage of both. They are very much the same. They give off the same type of air, the same type of vibe. He came really dang close with this fragrance. I gotta say, I gotta commend him on that. It's not quite the same in terms of the quality, but the vibe that it gives off is very similar. And people aren't really gonna know the difference, to be honest. In terms of performance, all right guys, so I'm gonna overdub this clip with amended information on the performance. I think I was a little bit premature in my assessment of the performance of Scarlet Warrior as it compares to Creed's Viking. To be honest, it doesn't compare. On Creed Viking, on my right hand, I'm still getting it 8 hours later. It's a skin scent, but it definitely still has that depth to it. That musky Creed DNA that you still expect with the depth. Whereas Scarlet Warrior does not have that. It is light, it is transparent, and I can barely detect it. I think it died off maybe 3 hours ago, to be honest. So I really have to take back what I said. The projection on the Creed is exceptional. On Scarlet Warrior, it is a little bit subpar. However, I have to say that even with the subpar performance, it is okay. It's going to be average. You might get your 5 to 6 hours with it. I do think that it just pales in comparison to the Creed. And this is going to lead me to my next question. Is this a suitable replacement? Yes. Yes, it is. Now, if you're one of those guys that feels like you want to get the real thing, you got to save up. If you got to have that, then by all means save up, go get the real thing. I don't think you'll be disappointed. But if you get a chance to check this out and you've already smelled Viking, you might be okay with this one, to be honest. I think this one is on sale for $60 right now on the Dua website, which I'll link down below. So while we're on the topic of Dua fragrances, I wanted to share with you there's another brand new release, and this is called Effing Unbelievable. Now, if you didn't already know, this is supposed to be an inspired expression of Tom Ford's newest fragrance, Effing Fabulous. I'm not going to say the word on my channel. I'm not trying to get flagged by YouTube, and also I just don't really use that language publicly in that way. Anyway, Effing Fabulous is the name of the Tom Ford fragrance that this is inspired by. Now, to be honest, I haven't smelled that one yet. I was not in a hurry to go out and buy a bottle. I'm not in a hurry to get a decant because I see people selling them for like $30 for 2 mLs. Not really trying to do that. So in receiving this, I'm assuming that my sound got pretty close, because what I've heard about the fragrance in terms of how it smells and what this smells like are very much aligned. What you're going to get out of this, kind of this powdery, sweet almond up top. I get this almondy feel to it. It's powdery. I think there's orris root and even geranium in here, which brings this powdery nature to it, almost floral. Not quite though. There's a ton of tonka bean. That is the main player in this fragrance. It's kind of creamy or milky in terms of the scent character, how it actually comes into your nostrils. It smells creamy. It's hard to describe, but you'll know when you smell things like this. And leather and suede, major player. It takes about 10 minutes for the leather to really start coming through, but when it does, it adds this beautiful depth and masculinity to the fragrance. Now again, I haven't smelled Effing Fabulous, but again, this smells exactly what I thought Effing Fabulous would smell like in hearing about it. And I really dig this. So that's all I'm going to say about this. I would still like to get my nose on the original somehow on the Tom Ford, but I don't have it right now, so I'm just going to tell you that I do enjoy this. If you smell Effing Fabulous, you get your hand on this, please let me know down in the comments how they compare. Performance on this is also pretty good. I think I was getting about 7 to 8 hours out of this, but I'm going to continue to test and get back to you on that. I got one more fragrance from Dua here. Now, this was not sent to me by Dua. I actually purchased this about a few weeks ago myself. I hadn't tried any from the house. I figured I'd go out and try it. I was really interested in what it was copying, and that is Le Labo's Bergamot 22. And this is their 22 Shades of Bergamot. I have a sample of Bergamot 22, which I have loved, but I'll never buy a bottle. But when I heard about this, I'm like, let's see how close it is. It's supposed to smell the same, but with better performance. And it really does. This fragrance, you're gonna get kind of this fresh bergamot, as you would expect, but there's a bit of there's like this vetiver petitgrain, almost like soapy quality to it. It's just really, really a gorgeous scent. Perfect for spring and summer. Very bright. Yeah, if you like Le Labo's Bergamot 22 and you're not willing to drop that cash for it, this is a very suitable substitute. And also, performance is better. The Le Labo's performance is not all that great for me. I was getting 5 to 7 hours, maybe 5 to 6. This one is pushing towards 8 hours and beyond. So great for the warm weather. I got it a little bit too late for the season, but I'm gonna keep it in my collection and wear it, whenever. Honestly, you could wear a fresh fragrance at any time. So this is another beautiful one to check out if you haven't. So that's my little Dua spotlight. Figured I'd throw the other two in there because I had them and I was talking about Dua. So I'll leave links down below if you want to check out Dua Fragrances. I'm going to continue to test these. Maybe I'll return to this one if I'm able to get a sample of the original Tom Ford fragrance that it represents. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Peace. See you guys in the next one.